Here, last week of the season. Can you believe it? Chris Hassel, Amanda Guerra, Brady Quinn, and Pete Prisco. Pete, almost playoff time, buddy.
That's right, Petey.
Playoffs?
Playoffs?
Huh?
How are you feeling at this point in the season? Are you tired yet? Or you
ready for it to be?
Pete's constantly tired.
No, I'm not. I love the playoffs. Playoffs are great.
Well, as I say, it's going to be an 18-game regular season at some point here in the future. So if you're tired at after week 18, get ready for week 19.
I'm not tired. You're the one who was complaining about being tired the other day.
I think we're all tired after staying up until 1 a.m. East Coast time to finish college football.
Some college football.
That was fun.
It was a little bit late. What was it? Closer to 2 by the time everything wrapped up a little bit. Right?
I know, but man, watching Michael Penix sling the football around the field, it's unbelievable.
He might have made himself a lot of money last night.
He probably did, and we're going to talk about those games coming up here in just a little bit. But first, week 18, Pete Prisco's power rankings, taking a look at them. Ravens staying at #1 after their blowout win against the Dolphins. Biggest loser for Pete in his top 10. Dolphins dropping 4 spots from #2 to #6 after they lost. They now have to beat the Bills to win the AFC East. Eagles, after snapping a 3-game losing streak, beating the Giants. And then they decide to lose to, of all teams, the Cardinals. Now likely losing that top spot in the NFC East.
Ravens #1, Pete, and you believe they're the class of the NFL now. Sportsline still giving the 49ers a better chance to win the Super Bowl. 29% San Francisco, 28% Baltimore. Why do you believe they are the clear class, not just of the AFC, but of the NFL?
I think the last 2 weeks taught us that. I mean, you saw them go to San Francisco and beat the daylights out of the 49ers, and you saw them beat the daylights out of the Miami Dolphins. So I think the last 2, and they've dominated every game against their team.
They have.
So I think they've proven they're the best team right now. It doesn't mean they're going to win it, but they've proven that they're the best team.
Well, I think we can agree, too. The AFC is a much more difficult path for any team to navigate as opposed to the NFC. You know, I don't think you have quite as many good teams in the NFC, at least in the playoff picture, as compared to what you have in the AFC, in my opinion. So I think that's part of the reason why San Francisco would be favored in this case. But there's no doubt about it. Baltimore, the way they've played this year, defensively speaking, but also Lamar Jackson. You got to give him so much credit for picking up an offense. The first year with Todd Monken as a play caller, their #1 receiver is a rookie. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts. You lose Mark Andrews, no big deal. Isaiah likely comes in and takes over. So for all of the change, all of the adjustments he had to make, he's having the best season of any quarterback. Now, the stats don't always back it up, but I think when we look at how he's performed against a tough schedule and against some of the best opponents, he showed up and showed out, and he's the MVP.
He is the MVP. And some of the throws he made on Sunday were amazing.
Ravens' final game hosting the Steelers Saturday. We're going to get picks here in a little while, but let's talk about the Browns cracking their top 5. Look, a lot of credit to Joe Flacco, but you think Kevin Stefanski, potential coach of the year, or is he the coach of the year?
In my mind, he's the coach of the year. Yeah, you have 29% of your salary cap on IR. You're down to your 4th-string quarterback who you brought in November.
Right.
You know, your star running back not there. You're down your 3 top tackles, and yet they're still moving the football and playing good offensive football. That's a tribute to Kevin Stefanski. We know the defense was going to be better. I think Jim Schwartz coming in really helped the defense.
Yeah.
But what Kevin Stefanski has done with the offense, and Joe Flacco looks fantastic. He's moving.
They're going wacko for Flacco in Cleveland.
It's unreal, and they should be.
Yeah.
I mean, it's incredible. I give a lot of the credit to Kevin Stefanski, and he will get my vote for Coach of the Year.
Let's go a step further, too. You talk about different quarterbacks. He's the 4th, obviously, as we talked about, and obviously joined the team as the season already took place. But think about the different style of quarterback he is. When you've got DTR, who had his own separate package, you know, PJ Walker, what he feels comfortable with, or even Deshaun Watson when he's in there. For those guys who have better athleticism than he does, it's going to be a different offense, different system, different game plan. Then Flacco comes in as more of your traditional pocket passer. And yes, we've seen him move decently well within the system, but not to the likes of what some of these other guys could do. So even the adjustment quarterback to quarterback in game planning and the success that they're having, and you look at Flacco so far, and like I thought when he would just go in and manage games, he's winning it with his arm right now, and it's not the running game. Yes, the defense has been a part of it too, but it's Flacco playing outstanding for the wily old veteran. And dare I say, as we peek into what the playoffs could be, could you imagine a scenario where you get in the divisional round, the Browns headed to Baltimore to take on the Ravens, and Joe Flacco leading this Browns team? How great of a storyline would that be?
Yeah, plus, you know, one of those teams used to be in Cleveland a long time ago.
Yeah, I know. They got ripped away and crushed my soul and heart back when I was a kid there. So.
For the Browns, right, I mean, do you just ride this and this is fun? I mean, when do you start looking to next year? Joe Flacco will be 39 years old in a couple days.
But the question is this, though. If Joe Flacco goes to a Super Bowl, Browns have never been, and won it, then what do you do?
Right.
Then that's the question.
That's getting ahead of ourselves here.
That's what I'm saying. Like, just right now, let's just go with it.
The whole thing is you just go with it. You just enjoy it. You go with it. You've got a quarterback under contract on a guaranteed deal. They're not going to be able to move off of it. They're not going to be able to find a trade partner for it. They're not going to release them. It's too much in the dead cap. There's way too many from the business side of things why they wouldn't be moving on from Deshaun Watson with what Joe Flacco has currently done. Now, if he wins a Super Bowl and all that, we could talk about that at that point.
Even if I was him, I'd be done. I'd be like, thanks.
And it'd probably be the best way to send off at 39 years old. It doesn't get much better than that. But who knows? He might want to still play. A lot of these guys feel rejuvenated getting into their late 30s. I can't say that I feel that way, but I think a lot of these other guys feel that way. So I don't know what they're doing or taking, but clearly I need to get on that regiment.
So they're number 5 in Pete Prisco's power rankings, right behind them.
Can I just ask this, though, because we're going to go to the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Can I ask this, though? Why do you have them up so high? Is it the way Flacco's playing, or is it the whole entirety of the thing?
The whole entirety of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you believe in them then?
I do believe in it. I believed in them from the beginning. I thought they'd be a playoff team, but with Deshaun Watson.
I mean, can they make noise in the playoffs?
Yes.
Okay.
They can.
All right. Maybe more so than the
Get
Miami
those power
Dolphins.
naps in.
Miami Dolphins, number 6 now. They fall from 2 down to 6. Significant injuries now. Is there any reason to believe that they could win the AFC?
Is the Chubb injury the most that drops them? Because I think you look at the Dolphins as a whole and say, all right, you probably down in Miami or even you probably might give an advantage to the Dolphins in this case based on how the season's gone, no?
Based on how the season's gone, maybe, but when you look at it right now, you're down your 2 top pass rushers. Your corner's not going to play. I mean, Xavier Howard's out as well.
Yeah.
And what's Waddle's status for this week? That's another one too. So I think when you add it all up, I think that's a major issue. Plus, the Bills have owned them. And I think that'll kind of lend itself to what happens playing forward. So I just don't believe in this team right now. What we saw last week from that defense was a horror show. I mean, even with Chubb in the game, it was terrible.
Well, I'll put it this way. The Baltimore Ravens have done that to a lot of teams.
I know.
With winning records and good defenses.
Guys were wide open, though.
And then that's the predicament that Lamar Jackson puts you in, the creativity of Todd Monken. You were here with me Sunday. We broke this down, you and I, Pete. I mean, we've seen it firsthand. There's a lot of things you give defenses to think about when Lamar Jackson's your quarterback, and mind you, what they're doing with their personnel grouping. So I think it's stressful for any defense taking on the Ravens.
Pete, you have the Lions dropping 3 spots to number 7. There was a lot of controversy in that game. We're going to see the video of it.
Why?
So that was my question. Is it just because of the teams you put ahead of them? Like, why do you have them dropping down to 7?
Well, I think there's a lot of concern about that. And they played better on defense the other day, but a lot of concern about the defense. And
I mean, look, if they don't make the call, and based on what took place, and I don't know what it's a he said thing. I'm just saying, like, we watched them go ahead.
What about the tripping penalty? That shouldn't have been called either, and it would have had a first down, and the game would have been over.
But we watched it happen. We watched them go ahead, and then it got taken away. Like, that didn't factor in. I honestly thought you'd have Detroit at number 5. I didn't think you'd have the Browns or the Dolphins where they are. I thought that's a better spot for a team that went on the road and, in the end, executed a play, which you can make the case.
Execute the play.
They executed it.
No, they didn't.
I don't know what the officials did their part.
They tried to get tricky, and it backfired on them.
The officials did their part.
It didn't work.
It worked. The play worked. We saw the play work.
It didn't work because it clearly didn't count, so it didn't work.
Got in the way there.
It didn't work.
I don't know.
They got too cute, too tricky, tried to trick the Cowboys, and ended up tricking the official, and the official blew it. We're not going to...
Would you have them ahead of both the Browns and the Dolphins?
Yes. I mean, the reality is, like, we just watched them go on the road and essentially at least see what that good win would have looked like. Now, Pete's going to say with 20 seconds, 2 timeouts, maybe Dallas still had a shot. But the reality is,
yes, and
Detroit's been a good football team all year long. And he's going to, whine and complain about this. But there's a legitimate case to be made for Detroit being a couple spots higher. They're his rankings, though, so we have to live with whatever Pete says.
And by the way, the tripping penalty was on a Hutchinson. It wasn't on the tight end, and that was a mistake. Otherwise, they have first down, and we never see that play, ever. We never see it.
We can go and comb through every single play of every single game.
That happened at the end of the game.
But we're talking about one where the officials got involved after we saw
when
the
they were
outcome
involved
of that
on that
play.
one too. They threw a 15-yard penalty on it. Yep. They were involved in it.
We should get penalty flags.
You
Like
should
when
throw
they
him,
need to like, stop talking?
So they've already wrapped up the division. They're going to get a home game in the playoffs. Elsewhere in that division, the Chicago Bears eliminated but playing their best football in years. They're the highest ranked 7-win team in Pete Prisco's power rankings, up 4 spots to number 20. They've answered the question, right? Or at least Justin Fields has. He's got to be the guy.
That's one thing we do agree on, by the way. We don't agree on a lot. We both agree that Justin Fields should be the quarterback next year. You've said that many a time. I've said that many a time. Now, we've argued with Rick Spielman about that, but 100% agreement.
Rick does not think he should be the guy.
Well, because there's some business considerations to be had, right? You're going to have to sign Justin Fields to an extension. Now, you have time. You can pick up the 5th-year option. You can play out the franchise tag if you're not sold. But the reality is he's continued to progress the more they've surrounded him with players, whether it's DJ Moore, a better offensive line, whatever the case may be. He's continued to progress as a quarterback. And if you're Ryan Poles, their general manager, you've actually already executed a trade, and you've been able to build this roster that way with the draft picks that you got for that pick. So why not do it again? You've got the #1 overall pick. Slide back a little bit. Let someone who falls in love with Caleb Williams go take him #1 overall and continue to build up this roster with a tackle, with another game-breaker wide receiver to surround Fields with. I think it's going to pay off much better for them in the long run.
You're a Bears fan, lifelong Bears fan. Or because you can't just come around lately because they haven't done anything lately. So you're really a lifelong Bears fan.
I've seen lots of losses.
They will be a playoff team next year.
Oh,
book it.
Book it.
They should be. I mean, they should have that expectation. They almost made it this year.
But this team is building to something, and I think Justin Fields is the answer. I think the offensive tackles, both of them are 1st and 2nd year players. You add maybe Marvin Harrison or O'Dunes from Washington, or a wide receiver, Neighbors, somebody, and put him into that offense. Komet can catch the ball. The runners are good young runners. They need one more pass rusher, but getting Sweat was big for them. This team is moving to something special, I'm telling you, and I'm a believer in Justin Fields.
Well, if they trade out of that #1 pick, think about what they can get with those draft picks there. Huge, absolutely huge. If somebody does fall in love with Caleb Williams, which a lot of people are. All right, let's talk about the Pick 6 podcast. I forgot what we were promoting there. Pick 6 podcast, NFL podcast. Latest episode
Pete's
recapping.
going on that today, right?
Today.
You are?
Yes, I am. Episode today.
Ooh,
Pete's
latest episode recapping week 17. Do you know what you're going to be talking about today, Pete?
Power rankings, and I'm sure some blind draft of favorite New Year's Eve foods or something.